Sometimes in life, people try to sabotage your career or things you have going for you. But however, one of the last people you would expect to sabotage you is your own mother. I'd say most people out there, they're going to trust their mom. In this circumstance, this player might have trusted her too much. In today's story and video, we have a messed up situation. The mother of a 4-star football recruit went behind her own son's back to forge his signature, trying to get him to go to a different college that she wanted him to go to. It was overall a really sticky situation. In most people's eyes, it was also really messed up. So therefore, with all this being said, it leaves us with the question today. What happened to the football player who had his own career sabotaged by his mom? What's good, y'all? Hope you're having a blessed day. Just wanted to drop by and say, if you're new to the channel, not subscribed, I appreciate if you join the family. Hit that subscribe button and leave a like for more. Now, without further ado, let's get into the video. Man, oh man, do we have a story to talk about and get into today. We've seen stories and even covered stories on this channel where recruits signed to a college their mom or dad didn't want them to go to. What makes the story we're going to talk about today a tad bit different, the mom in this video, she didn't care whatsoever. She was trying her best to sabotage his career. There's not other way to say this. I hate to throw the word sabotage out there. It's not something I take lightly. I don't know what else you would call it though. The main player we're going to be focusing on in today's video goes by the name of Floyd Raven. Also, this story and timeline of it takes place in 2011. Floyd Raven played his high school football in Louisiana. He was a cornerback coming in at roughly 6'1" and 180 pounds. I did see some websites with him as a 4-star recruit. I like to use ESPN. They only listed him as a 3-star. With Floyd being a 3-star recruit, he had options to go to almost any college he wanted to. To make a long story short for his high school career, he was a solid defensive player. There's not too much more to talk about. He wound up narrowing his schools and options down to Texas A&M, Alabama, Michigan, Ole Miss, Pittsburgh, and Utah. When I was doing research for this video, it was reported people around him expected him to go to Texas A&M. That's where everyone pretty much wanted him to go, except for his mom. This story gets fishy really fast. So Floyd originally took a visit to Ole Miss. He also took one to Texas A&M a couple of weeks later. I want to make this very clear. His mom really liked Ole Miss. That's where she wanted him to go. On the flip side, Floyd wanted to go to A&M. I understand many people think you gotta have a big signing day to make it official. Not every player does that. In this case, Floyd didn't do that. All he planned on doing was signing his letter of intent and mailing it to the school. Strangely enough, Floyd never signed his letter of intent. His mom did it before him, and where he intended on going was to Texas A&M. Remember, once again, his mom wanted him to go to Ole Miss. He wanted to go to A&M. On a random Wednesday when Floyd was at school, his mom thought, you know what, I'm going to sign his letter of intent for him and send it into the school. This is a big problem for numerous reasons. Reason number one, your son is the one who's supposed to sign this letter, not you. This is a big moment for him. Reason number two, unless I'm misinformed on life, you're not supposed to forge people's signatures on almost anything. And reason number three, she forged his signature without his consent. You know what, maybe it's not that big of a deal. She forged his signature. She was doing him a favor. Wrong. She forged his signature and signed him to the completely wrong school. She signed him to Ole Miss. He wanted to go to A&M. As crazy as all this sounds, it's true. She sent it in and mailed it in to Ole Miss. Everything was set for him to go play there. The head coach thought he was coming. After it was announced, he found out about it and said, I don't want to go there. I want to go to A&M. Here's what he had to say in a public statement. Quote unquote, long story short, my mom thought she was helping me out. I wasn't home and she sent it in. I never told her I had changed my mind to Texas A&M. I forgive her for it. It was an honest mistake. Hold on right there. When you read that quote, you get the vibe that they were on the same page. However, when Ole Miss's head coach got interviewed, it was not that same vibe. The Ole Miss head coach said this, quote unquote, the mom really wanted him at Ole Miss. Mom wanted him here in the worst way. Aha, you can see where I'm going with this. The son was taking up for his mom, saying it was an honest mistake. You got the head coach on the other term saying his mom was doing this on purpose. I believe in that same day they wound up fixing everything and he signed with Texas A&M. All was well. Let's take a look at his quote he said about his mom. Even though it appears he's taking up for his mom, he's claiming it was an honest mistake. Almost everybody, when you ask them, it wasn't. I'm not trying to make any claims. I could be 100% wrong, but I know almost every Division I athlete or D2 athlete, one of the biggest moments in their life is signing that letter to go to their dream school. That's something you don't want taken away from you, and you want to do it yourself. If we pay attention to the quote, he didn't say it was okay she forged his signature. The only thing he said is it's an honest mistake she signed him to Ole Miss. They were supposed to sign him to Texas A&M. To me, what I can infer from this is a classic case of a son not wanting to bash his mom on the internet, rightfully so. I'm sure there were some chosen words said behind the screen. I don't know. I'll let you guys debate that in the comment section. Now, as to how the mother of this son thought she was going to get away with this, thought it would even work, I don't know. I honestly don't think she was thinking. I'm surprised this didn't get more coverage than it did at the time. I could sit up here for 10 to 15 minutes and we could talk about how this is messed up or I don't agree with it, blah, 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 blah. The bottom line is, it doesn't matter what you say, you can't change my mind. This mother, she knew what she was trying to do. I think we can all agree it wasn't right what she tried to do. She almost got away with it, quite frankly. We can now move along with this video. The question we're now going to answer, the topic of this video: what happened to the player? As great as he was in high school, like I said, he was a 3-4 star recruit. His college career wasn't ideal. He played 30 years of college football at Texas A&M. He wasn't a star player that got a lot of recognition. At the same time, he was a really solid player. I'm not going to say he was the best player on the defense, but he wasn't a bench warmer. He played his role. I could make the argument and say he was a average or maybe slightly below or slightly above average football player. In his 3 years, he wound up finishing with 72 total tackles, which isn't that impressive. He also had 0 interceptions. For a cornerback, you would at least like to see a couple. After his college career, he tried his luck at the NFL. Surprisingly, things were going somewhat good. The Cincinnati Bengals did sign him as an undrafted free agent, and he spent a lot of time on the scout team. Still, being on the scout team, you can make decent money. Also too, who's to say somebody doesn't get hurt? He could get pulled up for a couple of games. Our story is about to take maybe arguably one of the most bizarre turns ever that nobody watching this video, I would argue and say, you have no idea and you wouldn't have predicted this. Literally in one of the middle of his football practices, with only being in the NFL for just 2 years, he said to himself, quote unquote, "Is this all that you have to offer to the world, Floyd?" Ironically enough, he hung up the cleats and quit football after that practice. Here's what he had to say in the interview. "At that time, I had no clue what I was giving up my first dream for. I just knew God was telling me to do more." I know exactly what you're sitting there thinking. Yo, Matt, what was this other thing that he knew God wanted him to do, and what was this thing that was good enough to quit football for? Ironically enough, this thing he wanted to do that he felt like would give him more joy and happiness is in 2018 to open up his own coffee shop. Yes, that is right, you heard me correctly. In 2018, he opened up his own coffee shop in College Station, Texas. What makes this even more, how do I say this, strange is maybe some of you are thinking, oh, he probably had a business degree in A&M. Nope, he had 0 business experience going into this. Here's what he had to say about it being something different. Quote unquote, "It's scary to go from something that you've done all your life to try to jump into something else. But it's like, if you want to create something for yourself that you leave behind, your legacy, then you have to take that leap at some point." Before we go any farther, I want to say that is a great quote and that is some great advice for any young people watching this. Anything that's worth having in this life, you're going to have to take some chances and have a leap of faith. Wait. I was actually wrong. He did, in matter of fact, graduate from Texas A&M with a business degree. What I meant to say was he didn't open up a business before this one. This was his first time having experience. I think that's a better way to explain it. My bad if you were somewhat confused. Here's what Floyd Raven also added. I thought it was cool. Literally, one of his last things he said about football is, "I thought I'd play football my entire life." Then boom, that's a wrap. You want to know something even more peculiar about all this? This story is one of the strangest ones I've ever seen. Before he even opened up this coffee business, he didn't even drink coffee. According to Raven himself, he now averages, yes, this is right, I'm not saying this wrong, he averages drinking 8 cups a day. I don't know how he does that or why he does that. The caffeine is way too much for any normal human to drink that much. Also, I know he sits on the toilet at least 5 times a day. If you don't know what I mean by that last statement, you more than likely do not drink coffee. If you were curious about his coffee shop, I did find his Instagram. It's private, but his coffee shop goes by the name of Last Shot Espresso. In his Instagram bio, he has quote unquote the espresso guy. Yeah, this story took a drastic turn, maybe one of the most unexpected turns ever. This isn't the craziest or strangest story we've ever done on this channel. However, I will say it might be one of the weirdest. A lot of odd things happen in this story, from his own mother trying to sabotage his career to him getting somewhat to the NFL and then out of nowhere saying, you know what, I'm gonna open up my own coffee shop, knowing he doesn't even drink coffee before doing it. My guy Floyd Raven is literally living life like a video game. If he gets tired of something, he just restarts. I don't even know what to say at this point. Congratulations to my man Floyd Raven. Wishing you the best of luck. Hope you're happier making coffee than you were playing football. It didn't seem like he liked it at the end of his career. Wishing Floyd and his family the best of luck. Hope they continue to see a lot of success with their coffee business. It appears it is a successful business so far. And if you're in the Texas or College Station area, you should check it out. I'm very curious. Let me know what you think about this down below. But with all that being said, that's going to wrap up this video. Hope you guys enjoyed. Hope you guys learned something. If you're new to the channel, what are you doing? Join the family, hit that subscribe button, and leave a like for more. And as always, let's be great. I'm out, y'all. Peace.